last lesson we learned that after the First World War, the European governmental systems were undergoing very rapid changes. Because prior to the First World War, the European kingdoms, monarchies, dynasties were in power. But during the First World War and after the First World War, those monarchies, kingdoms gave way to republics. Now in this republican form of government, democracy lies at the foundation. Owing to a surge in nationalistic sentiments in the minds of the masses, these republics over the years gave way to dictatorships. Well, let us now begin this discussion by talking about what this form of government called dictatorship means. A dictatorship is a form of government in which it is a single leader who is known as the dictator, and this dictator holds uncontested and absolute power in the government. That is to say, this dictator has his final say in the government. Here you can see an illustration that aptly shows you what the power of a dictator is. A dictator tramples over the ideas of freedom and democracy because he is uncontested. No one can contest the rule or the sayings of a dictator. Now, there are certain very important characteristics of a dictatorship. Now, citizens' independence, rights, liberties are all suspended in dictatorships, because these dictators are in no way willing to accept any kind of criticism or contradictory opinion. The dictator has his final say over the people. He is uncontested, and these dictators often resort to violence in order to suppress any kind of dissident opinions. So in a dictatorship, what we need to keep in our minds is that it is a single leader who holds absolute power over the people in the lands. Once someone has the taste of power, that person will thirst for more and more power. And this holds true for the dictators, because the dictators are the ones who are hungry for absolute and uncontested power, which is why the dictators are in no way willing to have their powers compromised in any kind of way. And at the same time, they also want to expand their power. And how can a dictator, or for that matter any ruler, expand his or her own power? That can happen through the expansion of territories. Now, dictators believe in following an imperialist policy. What does this mean? This means that the dictators want to annex the weaker and the smaller regions and bring everything under their control. Now, this illustration also aptly describes the hunger for power that a dictator experiences. Now, this dictator seems larger than life, and look at how his legs are spanning across a huge tract of land. Dictators want to expand the boundaries of their regions so as to gain more and more power over more and more people. So, the dictators follow an imperialist policy. And at the same time, till the end of their lives, the dictators want their rule, their say to be final and uncontested, which is why they are always in favor of one-party rule. Now, if there is only one party in a country or a nation or an empire, then there will be no opposing voices. There will be no dissident opinions to contest the rule of that one party. And that one party will be headed by the dictator. So, this is how a dictatorial form of government functions. Now, we have learned that during the First World War, Germany was rife with different kinds of political tensions. And it was at this point of time that a left-wing revolutionary movement was also gaining impetus in Germany. And this left-wing revolutionary movement was known as the Spartacist League. Now, the Spartacist League was a left-wing revolutionary movement, as we just mentioned, and it was organized in Germany during World War I. Now the Spartacist League was left-wing in nature. Now left-wing policy strives to achieve equality in the society. It wants to get rid of discriminations in the form of classes that are prevalent in most societies. So left-wing policy is more often than not egalitarian in nature. Now the Spartacist League was modeled on the Bolshevik Revolution that took place in Russia between 1917 and 1923. Now the Bolshevik Revolution was led by the Bolshevik leader Vladimir Lenin, and it took place in Russia between 1917 and 1923. This was also a major left-wing revolutionary movement that managed to abolish Tsarism in Russia. And the Spartacist League in Germany was also modeled on the Bolshevik Revolution. Now during this time, many Soviets were coming into being in Germany, and Berlin, which is the capital of Germany now, was rife with the call for Soviet-style governance. So the demand for Soviet-style governance now charged the political atmosphere of Berlin. But what do we understand by this Soviet-style governance? In this Soviet-style governance, Soviets are formed, and Soviets are basically units of a group of people. So there can be a Soviet of workers, or even the Soviet of the inhabitants of a region. And these Soviets actually want to take care of their own interests. And during this point of time, that is during the First World War, when the Spartacist League, which was a left-wing revolutionary movement, happened in Germany, call for Soviet-style governance now increased through Berlin. But not all people in Germany were in support of this Soviet-style governance, because this Soviet-style governance was left-wing in nature. But at the same time, there were the socialists, the democrats, as well as the republics in the German society. Now these people were not in favor of the Soviet-style governance, which is why they tried their best to strengthen the Weimar Republic. The Weimar Republic was a democratic republic, as we have learned, and these people strengthened the Weimar Republic. And in course of this, the Weimar Republic also managed to crush the left-wing uprising in Germany. So the Spartacist League was at this point of time crushed by the Weimar Republic. But do you think that the ones who were supporting the Soviet-style governance in Germany were completely defeated? Most definitely not. They were suppressed, but they were not defeated, which is why they were infuriated when the Spartacist League was suppressed and crushed by the Weimar Republic. And to this end, in the year 1918, the Spartacists founded the Communist Party of Germany. So this was the first left-wing party to come into being in Germany. Before proceeding with this lesson, let me ask you a question. When was the Communist Party of Germany formed? Was it formed in 1908, 1918, 1927 or 1930? Well, the correct answer is 1918. After being suppressed by the Weimar Republic, the Spartacists founded the Communist Party of Germany in 1918. During this time, the German population was divided between the communists and the socialists. Now, the communists and the socialists both believed in the abolition of private ownership of the modes of production like land, labor, capital. But they were divided on a certain principle. The socialists, on the one hand, were of the opinion that the elected representatives of the citizens should be in charge of the modes of production. But on the other hand, the communists are of the opinion that the people of a state should be in charge of the modes of production. Now the rift between the communists and the socialists became unbridgeable in Germany. They could not be brought on a same ground. They were very divided on certain principles. The communists wanted Soviet-style governance in Germany, as we have learnt, and on the other hand, the socialists wanted to strengthen the Weimar Republic. Now, a Soviet-style governance is very different from a republican form of government, because in a republican form of government, the citizens have the power or the authority to elect their representatives, and that representative takes care of the entire nation or state. But on the other hand, in a Soviet-style governance, small soviets or councils are formed which are associations of certain people, be that of workers, artisans, laborers, farmers, or even the residents of a region. Now the Soviets want to take care of their own interests. These Soviets do not represent a nation or a state as a whole. And on this ground, the communists and the socialists were divided. Now, political crisis ensued in Germany after the First World War. We have already learned that certain conservative sections of the society were in favor of dictatorship, while on the other hand, the communists and the socialists were divided amongst themselves. Having learnt about the political crisis that ensued in Germany following the First World War, in our subsequent lesson we will be focusing on the economic crisis that Germany was enmeshed in after the end of the First World War. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon. You can also register for free at DeltaStep.com or download the DeltaStep app to learn one-to-one with our amazing teachers, or to get access to all our 5,000 plus amazing videos as per your school syllabus. Master each topic with our adaptive practice technology. Get million-plus questions with step-by-step solutions and unlimited mock tests. Get all your doubts resolved instantly. Learn via games and win amazing prizes like PlayStations and iPads. So at DeltaStep, learning is not just fun and easy, it's rewarding too. So register for free now.